conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance tonight. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start with the roll call. Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Bracco.
Here.
Councilmember Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Morales. Here. Vice Mayor Egbert.
Here.
Mayor Murphy.
Here.
Quorum present.
Thank you. Item number 5 is approval of the agenda as it was revived. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Item number 6 is called to the public. At any time, any member of the public is invited to address the town council on any issue which is on tonight's consent agenda or any issue which the town council can lawfully act upon at a future meeting. Pursuant to Arizona open meeting laws, the council may not discuss the items, but individual members of the council may respond to criticism made by those who have addressed the council, may ask staff to review the matter, or may ask the matter be placed on a future agenda. I don't have any cards. If anybody would like to address the council, this would be the time. Seeing no movement, I will declare call public closed and move on to council and town manager brief summary of events. Councilmember Bracco.
This is brief, no.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Mayor, you and I had the pleasure of being at the Stack event on Saturday night, where they dedicated a tree for all of the teenagers that we've lost in our community. It's a little tree, but a little tree can grow into a very big tree.
Right.
And it was wonderful to have a couple of the people that had lost their children attend and to remember them. And I think that's important. I think in our society, what people want to be is to be heard and to be seen and have connections. And I think what Stack did is allows that to happen even beyond when those that have passed on. So it was really wonderful, and I appreciate the Stack and the work that they did for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Morales? Councilmember Davis? Yeah, I would just piggyback off of that. Thanks, Park and Rec, for supporting Stack. I could feel it's a good relationship working together, so that doesn't come without effort and work, so we appreciate that. One of the big reminders is, because before our next meeting, is Fiesta Sahuarita down at MX Park. Devin from Park and Rec and Victor from Economic Development and myself were on KGV Radio last week talking about it, as well as other events coming up both in Park and Rec and also in Economic Development. I got to talk about the big news of having a new town manager. That was, I think, my claim to fame on the radio station that day. But Fiesta the 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. I think over 120 vendors were up to, so thanks for all your efforts on. I think it's going to be, I guess I would encourage everybody to take shuttles. That's going to be the main thing, because parking will be always an issue. And
Mr.
then,
Mayor, I have
yes.
to ask, are you going to be in the dunk tank?
I will be. I've been invited on I think 3 dunk tanks, so I will probably be wet on that Saturday. Yes,
Just want to make sure where I can stand behind you.
Somebody, I can't remember who they all are, but yeah, I'll be making my rounds. And also, it was a really proud meeting I had last week. Our assistant town manager, where's Beth? Oh, there you are. We went to a meeting for El Tour for next year, and they were talking about the condition of the roads and the loop that's coming down. And they had these sections about colors on what the condition of our roads were. And ours were shining examples of what can be done. They were all green, which was the highest rating you could get, was very good, and we had a lot of positive comments. So I'm excited about the next tour. But it was a good meeting, everybody getting together, so I was happy to attend, and thanks for Beth attending with me. That's all I had. Mr. Dilly?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, just real quick, some exciting things happening. Parks and Rec and Community Services pulled together to conduct a Parks and Recreation Trails Master Plan exercise last week. We had over 150 people participate in that. Great turnout for our community. And so we got a lot of feedback on their thoughts about our community's needs, which was really central to the exercise. Our next steps in this effort is so the surveys that are out. So please help us in encouraging the public to participate in those surveys. They can do so at Sahuarita Parks for the People. I love it.com. Not the I love it part, but
Right.
Sahuarita Parks for the People.com. So jump on there and participate in the survey. Help us to frame and form our future through your voice. So thank you. You already spoke to the Fiesta Sahuarita coming up later this month. Looking for a great turnout. We've got vendors, but before that, so this coming Saturday, we've got a bunny bonanza at Animax. 6,000 eggs is what the notes say here. That's incredible. So there'll be a scavenger hunt, take home a craft kind of thing for participants. The first 300 people that show up can pick up a special bag with Easter themed goodies in it. So look forward to having a big turnout at that event as well. A lot of activities happening with our Parks and Rec between now and the end of June. So you can jump on the Sahuarita website and sign up for those events and activities. So hope that you take a look. I know near and dear to a lot of our hearts, but the dog parks are going through their renovation. Heard some positive responses to the town's efforts to put a temporary park up. Really grateful to Laura and team for being nimble and reacting and responding to the needs of the public the way that we have. So thank you. And just to note that our parks will be reopened. We're targeting May 6th, so not too far from now. On the police department side, we did apply for a $250,000 grant. This is the congressional directed spending grant opportunities that we saw some emails from, I think it was Senator Kelly's office. So that we made an application in for a mobile command post. Let's see here, this Thursday, just as a heads up to the traveling public, this Thursday, April 14th, ADOT will be limiting traffic on Sahuarita Road overpass to one lane with alternating traffic. The work will begin around 10 p.m. and be completed the very next day, 5 a.m. So it's kind of an overnight project, but it will be a limiting factor for people traveling that route. That's all that I have for
And
the,
we'll have that up, I'm assuming, on Facebook and getting that out.
yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor, can
Yes.
I add really quick? Thank you, Shane, for reminding me that that Parks and Recreation meeting, it was spectacular to be in that room. There was a lot of positive things that were said about our town staff and about what's happening, but it was an overwhelming, if you're wondering, overwhelmingly desire to have a sports facility. If you were wondering what came out of it, that was the big one. I've never been in a meeting where people wanted to give money to the government. They were ready to start fundraising for this. They are desperate and anxious to get it. So, and I mentioned in that meeting that not only do we need them to vote if we were to go to the taxpayers or the residents for a bond or such, but they will need to help campaign for it.
Champion
And
it.
yeah, we will need it to occur. And there was a lot of groups that were there that were very ready to jump in and assist in that process. So I think that's encouraging to see as we move forward with the project.
Yep, thank you. And then I forgot to remind you, our next meeting, regular scheduled meeting, is April 25th, Monday at 6 o'clock, our new time. Next is item number 8, which is our consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Madam Clerk, item number 9.
Presentation, public hearing, and discussion regarding ordinance number 2022-161, approving the La Villita specific plan. A request to change the zoning of 162 acres of land located on the west side of La Villita Road, south of its current terminus, and resolution number 2022-0704, declaring it a public record. Case number SA 920-001, and possible approval of contract number 220072, a development agreement between the town of Sahuarita and Green Valley 28 LLP regarding La Villita. This item was continued from the March 28, 2022 council meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is a continuation, not only of this item, but also the public hearing, but Ms. Cassidy, our Planning and Building Director, will be presenting this item, and then once any questions have been asked, I'll continue the public hearing, and then we'll close it, and then we'll go on from there. Ms. Cassidy?
Thank you, Mayor Murphy and members of council. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
The
now I can.
Microphone's a little further away today. I'll have to speak up. So this item was originally heard by the town council in September 2021 and was continued to April 11th. The meeting actually ended up being held on March 28th with notice and was again continued to April 11th. So here we are again. The continuation from March 28th was at the applicant's request. Because this is a continued public hearing, I'm going to give the presentation, but I'm going to keep it brief, just in case anybody online or in the audience hasn't seen it yet. I know this is your third time, so if you do have any questions or need me to slow down, let me know. The site is 162 acres, located south of Sahuarita Road on La Villita Road. It's currently zoned RH, Rural Homestead. The Planning and Building Department has determined that the specific plan conforms with the general plan. This will be the first entitlement in the proposed Sahuarita Square District Special Planning Area, which we adopted in our general plan a few years ago. It's also located in a growth area. A maximum of 1,200 homes is proposed for the specific plan. 2 land use categories are proposed with sub-areas. The purple areas on the map are Village Center. Examples of permitted uses in Village Center are residential, retail, gas stations, restaurants, etc. And the densities vary depending on the sub-area. Those will range between 6 to 25 RAC. RAC means residences per acre. And in sub-area A2, it'll be between 8 and 30 RAC. The orange sub-areas shown on the map are Village Neighborhood. Examples of permitted uses are residential uses, group care homes, assisted living facilities, and educational uses. The densities in the Village Neighborhood range from 6 to 25 RAC, 6 to 30, and 6 to 18. The lowest densities are in the L-shaped darker orange that is closest to the Valle Verde del Norte neighborhood. The specific plan provides standards for development, including setbacks, building height, and lot coverage. The specific plan will follow the town's recreational standard, which will include pocket parks and 2 neighborhood parks that will range from 2 to 10 acres, and that'll depend on the actual number of homes that are built in the area. Wastewater service will be by the town of Sahuarita, and it is located in the Farmers Water Service area. All of the required public notice has been provided throughout the process. No additional notice was required for tonight because at the last meeting, we continued it to a time and date certain. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the specific plan, and staff is also recommending adoption of the specific plan. There is a suggested motion up on the screen. There's a separate motion for the specific plan and another one for the development agreement. This concludes my presentation. Mr. Hockley, I don't know if you have anything you wanted to say about the development agreement?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it's the same as you saw at the last meeting.
Right, thank you. And Anna, just out of curiosity, because a lot of times the applicant will come in and get it zoned, but then somebody else will come in and actually develop it. So kind of for the plan that it's on there, if life changes and things change and a road needs to go like this instead of like that, we re-engage whoever the developer would potentially be, right? And how, when it's in a specific plan like that, is there any flexibility over time if the economy changes or needs change? How would that process work?
Yes, Mayor Murphy and members of the council, the zoning will run with the land, so regardless of who ends up being the ultimate developer, the zoning remains in place. The road alignments that are shown in the specific plan are somewhat conceptual, so if it ends up needing to be a little further south or a little further north, that's no big deal. And that actually becomes established at the time of platting, what will likely happen is they'll come in with either a block plat or a subdivision plat, and those plats will establish the right-of-way for the roads.
Right, thanks. I know over time, 90 front for it, or 100, or 50, or 45, that it changes over time, just based on the economy. So I was just wondering about the flexibility.
Right, and the specific plan also has mechanisms built into it for making amendments, either administrative or major amendments that would have to go to commission and council.
Okay, thanks. And I know it was at your request to postpone it, and you might have an update for us, so whatever you'd like to share with us.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Murphy, members of the council. So we really appreciate the extra kind of week and a half to let us talk with the school district. We had a really good meeting with them, and we actually, as of today, have a signed contribution agreement with them for each single-family residential dwelling unit or home. Will contribute $1,200 to the district. For each apartment, it's $600 to the district. And then we'll also do a one-time, at the time of the first rooftop donation, we'll also do a $40,000 one-time donation to the district. So they were happy with that. We were happy with it. And like I said, we've got the agreement signed. We'll probably record it in the next couple of weeks. And
Yeah, thank you. And for the record, all of those were higher than originally, so.
Exactly, yes, thank you.
that.
They were higher,
Yeah,
so.
thank you. Does anybody have any question for staff before I continue the public hearing? No? So the public hearing is still open.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would just add that I received a phone call from the superintendent this morning expressing much the same, appreciative for the extra time for that collaboration to occur, and a feeling of satisfaction on the outcome. So thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that. I don't have any speaker cards for the public hearing. Does anybody want to address the council on this matter? Here, seeing no movement, I will close the public hearing, and I will be entertaining a motion at this time.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
let's see, I move to adopt ordinance number 2022-161 and resolution number 2022-0704 approving the La Valita specific plan.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Madam, thank you for being here this evening and working with us.
We have a second
Wait, we have a
motion.
second one.
We need a second
Oh,
motion.
There's
okay,
another-
yes. I'll entertain.
Do you want to do it?
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve contract number 220072, entering into development agreement with Green Valley 28 LLP.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Any opposed? I wanted to do them together, but they wouldn't let me. That's right. Madam Clerk, item number 10.
Discussion and possible action regarding proposed Pima County Board of Supervisor district boundary maps.
Thank you. And the only reason I put this on is I had thought or hoped or heard that the redistricting at the county level was going to be finished last week. It wasn't. They continued it till tomorrow. And since I thought, well, we have a meeting tonight, I only speak for me, I don't speak for my colleagues, so I wanted to at least have this back up again. From my perspective, it doesn't change a lot of what I'd want to see, having us all in the same district, but there was some iterations of new maps, and I don't know if we may have gotten even some today. So, Lisa, were you prepared to just kind of, go over at least what was submitted and what it was originally, and kind of take us through that a little bit?
Sure. Honorable Mayor, council members. So the map that was discussed earlier and supported by the town council was map option 2B. And that included the majority of the town of Sahuarita being in District 2, with a small portion
The blue?
in the blue section in District 3. Since this time, the Pima County Redistricting Advisory Board has considered another iteration, and that iteration of this is map option 2B2. And the difference here is over here, and what has happened is that Precinct 83 has been moved from District 3 to District 2, placing almost the entirety of the town's boundaries within District 2. There is a very small portion over here, which is basically the Rancho Resort area in District 3. And those are the main differences in the options currently.
Right. So we didn't get any more today. There was some conversation that somebody might be submitting some more maps to the, but I haven't seen them either.
Honorable Mayor, council members, I have not received any information from Pima County.
Right. So as you can see, 2B2 really takes us to where we were desiring to go. It's not a huge change, but it is more, almost, you could say 100%. I mean, the blue couldn't be much smaller and still be in our town, but 2B2 probably gets us to what at least we discussed at our last meeting. So I just wanted to hear from colleagues on which one that we would support and then send to them. Am I assuming tonight, Lisa, or first thing in the morning, since the meeting's in the morning?
The meeting is tomorrow afternoon, Honorable Mayor,
Okay.
council members. So any direction or any comments you would like to have made to the board, I would appreciate that I receive them this evening,
Right.
if possible.
Thank you.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor? Yeah, from our previous discussion, this is pretty much consistent with our end goal.
Right.
It wasn't so much as to what district, but that we were in a contiguous district,
Right.
as opposed to being split up like we've been in 3 districts for the last 20 years.
Right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I want to thank Lisa for giving us the full maps too, so we can see the bigger picture. And I like 2B2, all for what was already said, but also it includes much of the Ocotillo Ranch and the,
Wrangler Ranch?
yes, and all those up there. Thank you. Included in our community, which these are the ones that the families shop in our stores, their kids go to the schools, and so it kind of brings us more, even though they're not in our boundaries, I would definitely consider them as part of our community.
Well, and they have the same zip code, so they call me when they have problems, and I have to educate them that it's, at least from a county standpoint, it is in Pima County, but we would be closer aligned to sort of represent them from that
Yeah.
perspective. Any comments from my right? Councilmember Morales, or? Okay, 2B2. Do we need a motion, since we had a motion before? So I'll entertain a motion that we submit 2B2 as our preferred.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I move that we submit 2B2 as our preferred.
I heard that
Designation.
before. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. And thank you for allowing me to add that at the last minute. Having no more further business, I don't know, 25 minutes. I'll see if I can beat that next time. We're adjourned. Oh, no, what did I do? What did I forget? We're going back into executive session. Oh, that's right. Yes, we had continued our executive session, so probably for the public, I wouldn't hang around, because usually out of executive session, we say we've given direction to our staff, and we don't plan on doing any action, so you're free, we're not. I did. Well, I thought it was the special meeting that I had. Yeah.